The fluorescent lights buzzed like angry hornets overhead as Alex Harper knelt in the shadowed hallway of Lincoln High, scrubbing at a fresh smear of red paint that spelled out FAG in jagged letters across the linoleum. His hands trembled not from the cold seeping through the tiles, but from the echo of laughter still ringing in his ears. The same pack of juniors who'd flung the can and bolted, their voices fading into the roar of the after-school crowd. In that split second before the door slammed shut behind them, Alex caught the glint of a phone camera, capturing his humiliation for the endless scroll of social feeds, and he knew this was just the beginning of another viral nightmare. He'd endured worse in his 42 years. Whispers in small-town Ohio diners, fists in dimly lit alleys. But here in the sprawling suburbs of Seattle, where rain blurred the line between mercy and mockery, Lincoln High was supposed to be his fresh start. A job mopping floors and unclogging toilets for minimum wage, far from the corporate ladder he'd tumbled off a decade ago, after coming out to a boardroom full of suits who suddenly couldn't meet his eyes. Now, as the janitor everyone pretended not to see until they needed him to vanish their messes, Alex felt the weight of invisibility like a noose tightening. But tonight, as he scraped away the last flecks of crimson, a shadow fell across the floor, not one of the vandals returning for round two, but a hesitant silhouette that made his heart stutter. "Excuse me, Mr. Harper?" The voice was soft, laced with the awkward tremor of youth, belonging to Jamie Ruiz, the lanky sophomore with messy black curls and eyes that darted like trapped birds. Jamie clutched a backpack strap like a lifeline, his cheeks flushed under the harsh lights. I saw what they did. It's bullshit. Here." He thrust forward a crumpled wad of paper towels, as if they could erase more than just the paint. Alex straightened slowly, wiping his hands on his faded jeans, forcing a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Thanks, kid, but I've got it. You should head home before the storm hits." Rain pattered against the windows like impatient fingers, mirroring the storm brewing in his chest. Jamie lingered, though, shifting weight from one sneaker to the other, and in that moment, Alex saw the flicker of something familiar in the boy's gaze. Fear masked as concern, the quiet ache of secrets too heavy for 16 years. Jamie swallowed hard. "It's not just this. They've been posting stuff online. About you. And me." The words hung there, fragile as glass, and Alex's breath caught. He'd noticed Jamie before. The way he volunteered for cleanup duty after lunch, lingering in the cafeteria with a sketchbook instead of joining the jocks at their table, his laughter always a beat too late, too forced. Rumors swirled in the staff lounge about that artsy kid being one of them, code for anything that didn't fit the all-American mold Lincoln High prized. But hearing it from Jamie's lips cracked something open in Alex, a reluctant empathy that whispered, "You're not alone in this hell." "Go on, then," Alex said gently, nodding toward the exit. "And Jamie, keep your head down. This place, it eats dreamers alive." As the boy slipped away into the downpour, Alex leaned against the wall, the wet rag dripping forgotten in his fist. Little did he know, that single act of kindness would unravel the threads of his carefully guarded life, pulling him into a web of alliances, betrayals, and a love he'd sworn never to chase again. By morning, the video had spread like wildfire through the school's group chats. Grainy footage of Alex on his knees, the slur glowing under the lights, captioned with emojis that twisted the knife deeper. He clocked in at dawn, the scent of industrial cleaner clinging to his skin like shame, and avoided the clusters of students huddled over screens in the quad. Principal Harlan Whitaker's office door loomed at the end of the admin hall, a polished oak barrier etched with his name in gold letters, a symbol of the man who ruled Lincoln High with an iron fist wrapped in paternal smiles. Whitaker was the archetype of small-town success, mid-50s, broad-shouldered, with a handshake that lingered just long enough to assert dominance, and sermons at assembly about traditional values that always circled back to discipline and decorum. He'd hired Alex 2 years prior, citing second chances after a perfunctory interview where his eyes had skimmed the resume without truly seeing. Now, as Alex pushed his cart past the office, Whitaker's voice boomed through the half-open door, berating a counselor over budget cuts. "We can't afford distractions. This school is about building futures, not indulging fantasies." Alex paused, the mop handle slick in his grip, and for the first time, he wondered if Whitaker's disdain extended beyond the abstract. Whispers among the staff hinted at the principal's own skeletons, a divorce filed under hushed terms, a son who dropped out and vanished east, rumors of family troubles that Whitaker drowned in golf outings and donor luncheons. But Alex had no time for speculation. His shift demanded he empty the trash in the boys' locker room, where the air hung thick with Axe body spray and the faint undercurrent of cruelty. There, amid crumpled energy drink cans and discarded mouthguards, he found the first clue, a crumpled note shoved into a vent, scrawled in Sharpie on notebook paper. Meet at roof after practice. Tell no one. R. The handwriting was sloppy, boyish, but the urgency leaped off the page. Alex pocketed it without thinking, a habit from his days as a junior accountant piecing together fraud trails before the firm turned on him. As he hauled the bin toward the dumpster, Jamie appeared again, this time breathless from track, his uniform shorts mud-streaked. "Mr. Harper, wait." Jamie jogged up, glancing over his shoulder at the emptying field. "Last night, I couldn't sleep. They're planning something bigger. A prank on the GSA meeting Friday. Fake blood, slurs on the windows. It's Whitaker's nephew leading it, that asshole Tyler." Alex's jaw tightened. The Gay Straight Alliance had been Jamie's lifeline, a scrappy club of misfits meeting in the art room under Ms. Patel's watchful eye. Tyler Whitaker, the principal's golden boy, quarterback with a sneer that could curdle milk, embodied everything rotten about Lincoln High. Charm for the cameras, venom for anyone who didn't bow. "Why tell me?" Alex asked, voice low as thunder rumbled distant. "Because you're like us," Jamie blurted, then blushed furiously. "I mean, I heard. And you don't fight back, but you should. We should." The plea in his eyes was raw, a mirror to Alex's own youth, when he'd hidden crushes behind math textbooks and fled a home where disappointment was the kindest word his father could muster. Against every instinct screaming self-preservation, Alex nodded. "All right, but we do this smart. No rash moves." It was the spark, the first thread in a tapestry of quiet rebellion that would bind them, test them, and ultimately shatter the facade of the man at the top. The week blurred into a tense rhythm of stolen glances, and coded notes slipped into Alex's locker. Jamie became his unlikely shadow, arriving early to help with chores, their conversations weaving from surface chatter to the marrow of their scars. Alex learned of Jamie's fractured family. A mother lost to cancer 2 years back, a father remarried to a woman who viewed his sketches as frivolous distractions, and the gnawing isolation of realizing at 14 that his heart raced for boys, not girls, in a town where queer was still a punchline. "You're brave, kid," Alex told him one afternoon, as they taped over a cracked window in the GSA room. "Coming out here? Takes guts I didn't have till 30. Jamie shrugged, but his smile was genuine, a rare bloom in the gloom. "You clean up their shit every day? That's braver." In those moments, something shifted, a fragile bridge forming over the chasm of generations and grief. Alex hadn't felt this pull since Marcus, his ex of 8 years, whose betrayal in that boardroom had left him adrift, vowing off connections that could bleed him dry. Yet Jamie's earnestness chipped at the walls, reminding him that vulnerability wasn't weakness, but the only path to light. Meanwhile, the pranks escalated. Lockers vandalized with stickers reading, "No fags allowed." Anonymous tips to the local paper framing the GSA as a disruptive element. Whitaker addressed it at Monday's assembly, his voice grave over the PA. "Bullying has no place here, but neither does division. Let's focus on unity, on what makes us strong as a community." The hypocrisy burned, especially when Alex overheard Tyler boasting in the halls about teaching those weirdos a lesson with his uncle's tacit approval, a blind eye turned for family loyalty. It was Wednesday when the first twist landed like a sucker punch. Alex, sorting through the lost and found in the boiler room, unearthed a flash drive tucked into a sock. Curiosity overrode caution. He plugged it into the ancient desktop the staff shared, the screen flickering to life with folders labeled private. Heart pounding, he clicked one at random. Grainy videos of Whitaker, not in his office, but in a seedy motel on the edge of town, entangled not with his ex-wife, but with a man, disheveled, desperate, the kind of clandestine passion that reeked of shame. Alex recoiled, ejecting the drive as if scorched. Blackmail material? Stolen by whom? The timestamp predated his hiring by months, suggesting deeper rot. He hid it in his toolbox, mind racing. Confront Whitaker? No, that was suicide. But leverage. That could flip the script. As he wrestled with the moral quicksand, Jamie burst in, face ashen. It's Tyler. He cornered me after art. Said if I don't quit the GSA, he'll tell everyone about my dad. Jamie's voice cracked on the last word, and Alex pulled him into a hug without thinking. The first real embrace in years, awkward and anchoring. What about your dad? He murmured, as Jamie trembled against him. He's seeing someone. A guy. From work. Mom's gone, and it's like, if it gets out, everything falls apart. The confession spilled like a dam breaking, mirroring the flash drive's poison. Father and son, both hiding in plain sight, while Tyler's malice threatened to expose them both. In that boiler room, amid the hum of pipes and the scent of rust, Alex made a vow, not just to protect Jamie, but to dismantle the machine that ground them down. Revenge wasn't about destruction, it was reclamation. And as thunder cracked outside, he outlined the plan. Infiltrate Tyler's circle, gather proof of the larger scheme, and use Whitaker's secret not as a weapon, but as a mirror, forcing the principal to see his own hypocrisy or lose it all. But plans, like hearts, have a way of fracturing under pressure. That night, as Alex lay in his cramped apartment overlooking Puget Sound, the rain lashing windows like accusations, he dreamed of Marcus, not the cheater who'd sold him out, but the man who'd once whispered promises under starlit skies. Waking to the ping of his phone, he found a message from an unknown number. I know what you found. Meet me tomorrow, or the kid pays. Attached was a photo of Jamie, oblivious, laughing in the quad. The game had just begun, and Alex was no longer playing alone. The anonymous texter turned out to be Riley Kane, the school's enigmatic guidance counselor, a woman in her late 30s with sharp bobbed hair and eyes that missed nothing. They met at a dingy coffee shop on the waterfront, the kind where fog clung to the glass like secrets. Riley slid into the booth opposite Alex, her latte steaming untouched. You're in over your head, Harper. That drive? It's mine. Stolen from Tyler's phone during a session he thought was confidential. Alex's grip tightened on his mug. You blackmailed the principal? She laughed, bitter and low. Hardly. Whitaker's been using school funds for his indiscretions. Hush money to that lover, payoffs to keep the divorce quiet. I found out last year, tried to go through channels. He buried it, threatened my job. So I took insurance. Her gaze softened, flicking to the photo of Jamie Alex had shown her. The boy's father, Carlos Ruiz, is the man in the videos. They met through community outreach. Carlos volunteers at the shelter where I work part-time. Whitaker's been leveraging it to control him, forcing donations from the Ruiz construction firm to cover his tracks. The revelation hit like a rogue wave. Jamie's dad, the stoic widower Alex, had glimpsed at parent-teacher nights, entangled in Whitaker's web. No wonder the family teetered on eggshells. One wrong step, and the scandal would devour them. Why me? Alex pressed, voice edged with suspicion. Because you're clean. No ties, no agenda. And, Riley leaned in, her whisper cutting through the espresso grind. You're good with the kids. Jamie trusts you. Use that. Get close to Tyler, record the prank setup. I'll handle the financials, forge a trail to the auditor. But if Whitaker catches wind, we're all done. Alliance forged in caffeine and conspiracy, Alex returned to school with a fire in his veins. Befriending Tyler required theater he'd long forgotten, feigned camaraderie during lunch shifts, wiping down tables near the jock's corner, dropping casual compliments on a fumbled pass. Nice arm, Whitaker. Could have gone pro, he'd say, earning grunts that slowly thawed to smirks. Tyler, beneath the bravado, was a storm of insecurities, pressure from a father who saw him as an extension of legacy, not a son, a girlfriend who rolled her eyes at his boasts, and a gnawing emptiness he filled with cruelty. One evening, as Alex feigned overtime in the gym, Tyler lingered after practice, towel draped and sweat slicked. Hey, janitor dude, Alex, right? You ever play ball? The question was laced with condescension, but Alex seized it, spinning tales of his high school glory days in Ohio, dodging tackles, and dreaming of scholarships that never came. Tyler ate it up, vulnerability cracking his armor. Sucks being the principal's kid. Everyone expects perfection. Like, what if I screw up? Then you own it, Alex replied, simple and steady. Hiding just makes the fall harder. The words echoed his own regrets, and for a heartbeat, Tyler's mask slipped. Eyes haunted, not hateful. Was there redemption here, or just another layer of the lie? Jamie watched from the bleachers, jealousy flickering in his sketchbook margins. You're too nice to him, he muttered later, as they pored over Riley's leaked emails in the art room. The documents painted Whitaker as a thief in a suit, diverted GSA funds to his personal retreats, bribes disguised as consulting fees. But Jamie's envy ran deeper, a tangle of admiration for Alex that blurred into something unspoken, a crush blooming in the soil of shared secrets. Jealousy's a thief too, Alex teased gently, ruffling Jamie's curls. Focus on the win. Yet as their hands brushed over the printouts, Alex felt the current. Innocent on Jamie's end, a reminder on his of boundaries crossed at his peril. He pulled back, heart aching with the what-ifs of a life unlived. The GSA meeting Friday arrived under a sky bruised purple, tension coiling like smoke. Ms. Patel led with her usual fervor, discussing pride flags for the upcoming rally, but the air hummed with dread. Tyler's crew had been spotted near the supply closet, whispers of red paint redux circulating. Alex patrolled the halls in shadow, walkie-talkie crackling with Riley's updates, while Jamie manned the door, eyes sharp as a hawk's. It happened at dusk, a crash from the roof access, followed by whoops and the splatter of liquid against glass. Fake blood oozed down the windows, spelling, out of the closet and into the fire. Panic rippled through the room, but Alex was already moving, bursting into the stairwell where Tyler and his cronies high-fived, phones out for the show. Enough! Alex's roar echoed off concrete, startling them into freeze frame. Tyler whirled, sneer faltering. What the stay out of it, freak? But Alex held up his phone, red light blinking. Smile for the evidence, Whitaker. Assault on school property, hate crime on video. Your uncle's gonna love explaining this to the board. The bluff worked. Panic flashed in Tyler's eyes, the group scattering like roaches. Alone now, father and nephew faced off, the stairwell a confessional under flickering bulbs. You don't get it, Tyler hissed, backing against the rail. He made me. Said if I didn't man up, he'd disown me. The GSA? It's a threat to everything. Desperation cracked his voice, and Alex saw the boy beneath, the one Whitaker had molded into a weapon, blind to his own fractures. Man up means standing against this shit, not for it, Alex said, voice steady as he lowered the phone. Your call, kid. Help us end it, or watch it bury you all. Tyler's silence stretched, then shattered with a nod, the first fracture in the dynasty. As sirens wailed distant, Riley's anonymous tip to campus security, the Real storm gathered. Jamie, breathless from the chase, collided with Alex in the hall, their embrace fierce amid chaos. We did it, Jamie whispered, but his eyes held questions, depths Alex wasn't ready to plumb. Love, in its tenderest form, had entered uninvited, complicating the revenge with hearts on the line. Word of the prank hit the local news by Saturday, a blip about youthful hijinks that Whitaker spun into a teachable moment. But behind closed doors, the principal's fury boiled. He summoned Alex to his office Monday, the space reeking of stale cologne and suppressed rage. You overstepped, Harper. Stirring up trouble with those activists. Clean the floors and keep your nose out. Alex met his gaze, the flash drive burning a hole in his pocket. Or what? Fire me for doing my job. The defiance surprised even him, fueled by Jamie's texts, grateful, glowing, laced with I think I. Confessions Alex deflected with paternal jokes. Whitaker leaned forward, knuckles white. You think you're untouchable? I know about your past. The scandal that got you blacklisted. One call, and you're back to flipping burgers. The threat landed, but Alex saw the fear beneath. The man cornered, clinging to power like driftwood. Funny, Alex replied coolly. Coming from someone who's been flipping ledgers. Check your emails, Harlan. The auditors got questions about those donations from Ruiz Construction. Whitaker paled, the bluff hitting home. What do you want? Protection. For the GSA, for Jamie, for every kid you deem divisive. Resign quietly, or the videos go public. Yours and the prank. Hypocrisy's a hell of a headline. He slid a USB across the desk, copy of the drive, and watched the principal's empire crumble in real time. Stunned silence, then a whisper. My son. Tyler's not like me. I pushed him to be strong, but I broke him. Tears welled, unbidden, and in that vulnerability, Alex glimpsed the ghost of a man who'd once loved freely before shame armored him. Fix it, Alex said softer now. Start with truth. He left the office lighter, the weight shifting from revenge to release. But twists lingered. That evening, as Alex walked Jamie home through drizzling rain, the boy stopped under a street lamp, sketchbook clutched like a shield. Mr. Harper, Alex. It's more than thanks. I like you. Like really. The admission hung, pure and perilous, a line crossed in the downpour. Alex's heart twisted, affection warring with ethics, the echo of his own first love a lifetime ago. Jamie, you're incredible. But I'm old enough to be your dad. This. He gestured between them, rain tracing paths like tears. It's friendship, the kind that saves lives. He pulled the boy into a hug, boundaries firm yet tender, and as they parted, Alex felt the stirrings of something new, not romance, but purpose, a family forged in fire. Riley's audit dropped Tuesday, exposing the embezzlement in a cascade of memos and wire transfers. Whitaker tendered his resignation by noon, citing personal reasons, the local paper trumpeting it as a sudden departure amid financial irregularities. Tyler, in a move that stunned the school, testified against the prank ringleaders, his public apology at assembly raw and real. I was scared. Of my dad, of myself. But hate? That's the real weakness. In the aftermath, Carlos Ruiz emerged from the shadows, meeting Alex at the shelter where volunteers sorted donations under humming fluorescents. You saved my boy, he said, handshake firm, eyes warm with the quiet strength of survival. And maybe me. No videos surfaced. Mercy over malice, a choice that healed more than it hurt. As spring thawed Seattle's gray, Alex found himself at the Pride rally, rainbow flag draped over shoulders once bowed. Jamie marched beside him, sketchbook swapped for a sign reading, Love wins, no exceptions, while Riley and Ms. Patel cheered from the sidelines. Tyler even showed, awkward in the crowd, a tentative olive branch extended over shared coffees later. And in the quiet evenings, Alex mentored a new GSA advisor, his past no longer a chain but a compass. Love, he'd learned, wasn't possession or passion's blaze, but the steady flame of understanding, across divides of age, identity, and injury. The mockery had faded to memory, replaced by murmurs of respect. That's Harper, the one who changed everything. Yet the deepest twist waited in a letter from Marcus, postmarked Ohio, arriving on the rally's eve. Saw the news. Proud of you, Alex. Still love you in my way. Forgive. He burned it in the sink, ashes swirling down the drain like old ghosts. Forgiveness wasn't his to give freely, but moving on? That was the ultimate revenge. Lincoln High bloomed anew that fall, GSA banners fluttering without fear, and Alex Harper, once invisible, walked the halls not as janitor, but guardian, his heart scarred but open, ready for whatever truths the next corridor held. The assembly hall thrummed with the low buzz of 100 students shifting in plastic chairs, the air thick with the scent of cafeteria pizza and adolescent restlessness. Alex stood at the back, arms crossed over his faded flannel, watching as the new interim principal, a no-nonsense woman named Dr. Elena Vasquez, took the podium. Her voice cut through the murmurs like a knife. Today, we honor change. Not through punishment, but growth. I'd like to introduce someone who's shown us what real courage looks like. Spotlights swung, landing on him, and Alex's stomach lurched. Whispers rippled, the janitor. No way. But he stepped forward anyway, the weight of Jamie's proud grin from the front row anchoring him. I'm no hero, he began, voice steady despite the knot in his throat. Just a guy who got tired of watching good people get trampled. We all have secrets, hurts that make us lash out. But facing them? That's where strength starts. Applause erupted, tentative at first, then roaring, and in the swell, Alex caught Tyler's eye, the boy clapping hardest, a silent thank you etched in his nod. It was surreal, this reversal, like emerging from a long dive into sunlight. But as the echoes faded and students filed out, Jamie sidled up, eyes sparkling. You were awesome. Like, speech of the year awesome. Alex chuckled, ruffling his hair. Flattery'll get you extra mop duty. But the lightness masked the undercurrent, the boy's lingering gaze, the unspoken more that hovered between them. Jamie was healing, throwing himself into art club with a fervor that lit rooms, but the crush lingered like a half-finished sketch, beautiful in its imperfection. That afternoon, as Alex tackled the science wing's perpetual spill of mystery chemicals, Riley cornered him in the stockroom, her usual poise frayed at the edges. We need to talk. Off-site. Her urgency brooked no argument, so they met at the same waterfront cafe, waves lapping gray under a reluctant sun. It's not over, she said, sliding a folder across the formica. Whitaker's not going quietly. He's lawyered up, claiming entrapment. And get this, he's pointing fingers at Carlos. Says the donations were extortion from him. The documents inside were a nightmare. Affidavits from Whitaker's cronies, painting the Ruiz family as aggressors, their construction business tainted by questionable ethics. Alex scanned the pages, fury simmering. Bastards twisting the knife. Carlos is clean, volunteering his weekends, raising a kid alone. Memories flooded. His own father's cold silences after the coming out. The job loss that stripped dignity layer by layer. We fight this. Riley nodded, but her eyes held shadows. I have more. From the drive, emails showing Whitaker targeted other staff. Me, Patel. Even you, Alex. He dug into your past, planned to use it if you ever pushed back. The revelation stung, a reminder that the war never truly ended, only shape-shifted. As they plotted, subpoenas, witness lists, Alex's phone buzzed with a text from an unknown. Stay away from my family, or your little boyfriend gets exposed. Attached was a photo of Jamie at the rally, arm around a classmate, innocent joy captured for malice. Tyler? No, the angle was wrong. Someone deeper in the shadows. Paranoia crept in like fog off the sound. Alex doubled back on his routes, eyes scanning for tails, but the school felt smaller, walls closing. Jamie noticed, of course, kids had radars for distress. What's wrong? He asked during their ritual coffee run to the vending machine, 2 burnt cups of sludge between them. Just ghosts. Alex lied, then softened. Hey, remember that first note you gave me? The towels. Jamie nodded, cheeks pinking. That started this. You started this. Don't let anyone dim that light, okay? Jamie's response was a fierce hug, brief but bone deep. You either. And in that squeeze, Alex glimpsed a future, not romantic, but fraternal, a bond unbreakable by threats or time. The legal skirmish escalated midweek, Whitaker's suit hitting the papers with headlines screaming, ex-principal alleges corruption in firing. Protests erupted outside the district office, GSA kids chanting with signs Alex had helped letter, their voices a bomb against the vitriol online. Trolls unearthed his old scandal, dubbing him the closet cleaner, but supporters countered with Harper Hero, a tide turning slow but sure. Carlos called that night, voice gravelly over the line. Meet me. Shelter, tomorrow. Alex arrived at dawn, the building a hive of activity. Families sorting clothes, kids coloring at low tables. Carlos waited in the back office, broad-shouldered like his son, but etched with more lines, a quiet dignity in his flannel and jeans. Thanks, he said simply, clasping Alex's hand. For not leaking it. I was ashamed him, the lies. But Jamie, he's why I fight now. They talked for hours, man to man. Carlos's journey from immigrant steelworker to foreman, the love for his wife that anchored him, the unexpected pull toward another man after her death, a bridge to humanity when grief isolated. You're a good dad, Alex said, meaning it. And Jamie's lucky. Carlos smiled faintly. He's got you too. Thinks the world of you. The implication hung, gentle warning wrapped in warmth. Be careful with hearts, Alex. Yours included. The advice echoed as Alex drove home, radio humming with a story on queer rights marches. His own heart, a map of healed fissures, open to possibility, but wary. That wariness sharpened when he found his apartment door ajar, a single envelope on the mat. Photos of him and Jamie, timestamps from their walks, captioned pedo vibes. Rage, cold and clarifying, settled in. He called Riley, then the cops, harassment charges filed, but the cinder vanished like smoke. Tyler, confronted in the parking lot, swore innocence, his denial ringed with genuine hurt. I'd never. After everything. The boy's fracture ran deep, therapy sessions with Vasquez peeling back layers of paternal poison. In the eye of the storm, love bloomed unexpectedly, not the dramatic sweep of novels, but quiet roots. Ms. Patel, ever the observer, invited Alex to a faculty potluck, her samosas a gateway to laughter with colleagues who'd once averted eyes. There, amid string lights and shared stories, he met Theo, a history teacher, 38, with a lopsided grin and a penchant for Civil War documentaries. Their chat started over bad wine. You think Lincoln freed the slaves, or just the narrative? And stretched into the night, Theo's hand brushing his in a pass of the platter, electric without pressure. Your trouble, Theo teased later, walking Alex to his car. The kind that sticks. Alex laughed, the sound foreign and free. Takes one to know one. No declarations, just the spark of potential, a reminder that after revenge's blaze, embers could warm without burning. But the anonymous stalker struck again. A brick through the GSA window, note attached, back off, or next one's the kids. Jamie, undeterred, rallied the club for a repair party, paint rollers flying as they turned vandalism into art. Murals of intertwined hands, colors defying gray. Alex joined, brush in hand, and in the laughter, found family. The climax crested at the court hearing, a sterile room packed with reporters and allies. Whitaker took the stand, polished but cracked, his testimony a litany of deflections. I built that school. They destroyed me. But Riley's cross-examination unraveled him. Bank records, witness statements from Carlos, the lover who'd come forward with tales of coercion. Then Alex's turn. You mocked us to feel mighty. But power without heart. It's dust. His words, simple, landed like thunder, the jury's nods a silent verdict. Dismissal came swift, case thrown out, Whitaker's reputation in tatters, barred from education forever. Outside, rain finally breaking to sun, Jamie hugged him fierce. We won. Theo waited on the steps, hand extended, and Alex took it, the circle complete. Healing followed, slow as dawn. Tyler graduated with honors, bound for community college and counseling. His letter to Alex abridged. You saw me when I was invisible. Thanks. Carlos and his partner went public, a quiet wedding where Jamie walked his dad down the aisle. Alex in the pews with Theo, their fingers laced under hymnals. And Alex? Promoted to facilities director, his days now planning, not just cleaning. Nights with Theo unfolded like forgotten sonnets. Debates over dinner, walks where hands swung free. Love, he discovered, was revenge's truest form, not against the world, but for it, building from ruins what endures. Yet in quiet moments, scrubbing a stubborn spot out of habit, Alex remembered the paint, the slurs, the boy who'd handed him towels. That hook had reeled in a life remade, not perfect, but profoundly his. Summer draped Seattle in a rare golden haze, the kind that softened edges and invited secrets to surface. Alex savored it from his balcony, coffee steaming as fairies cut wakes on the sound below. Theo sprawled beside him in a hammock they'd strung haphazardly, legs tangled, reading aloud from a dog-eared Kerouac. On the road again, Theo drawled, voice warm with mock drama, but this time with better coffee. Alex grinned, tracing the freckles on Theo's forearm, a map he'd memorized in stolen touches. Their rhythm was easy, unhurried. Mornings debating lesson plans, Theo's AP history clashing with Alex's practical tales of labor rights. Evenings at low-key bars where queer couples blended into the tapestry without fanfare. No grand gestures, just the steady build of trust, a counterpoint to the tempests of spring. But peace, Alex knew, was fragile as sea glass. A call from Jamie shattered the idyll. Dad's in trouble. Some guy's suing him. Says the wedding was a sham, blackmail or something. The panic in the boy's voice clawed at old wounds. Carlos, fresh from his nuptials, faced a ghost from Whitaker's era, a former associate claiming fraud, dredging up the embezzlement to sink the Ruiz firm. Alex met them at the shelter, where Carlos paced the foyer. Ty Askew, his husband Ben, a soft-spoken librarian with wire rims, clutching a mug like a talisman. "It's bullshit," Carlos growled. "This guy's a Whitaker lackey, trying to drag us down." Jamie hovered, fists balled. "We beat it before. We can again." The fire in him mirrored Alex's own at that age, defiant, unscarred. "We will," Alex assured, pulling Riley into the loop via conference call. Her voice crackled with resolve. "I've got a PI on it. This suit's funded by a shell company. Traces back to Harlan's golf buddies. Classic retaliation." Strategy sessions became ritual, held in the shelter's back room amid stacks of donated books. Theo joined, his historian's eye spotting patterns in the legal docs. It's McCarthyism redux, fear-mongering to silence dissent. Laughter punctuated the grim, Ben's dry wit-cutting tension. "If we're witches, at least make my broom fabulous." Through it, Alex watched Jamie evolve, 17 now, his art earning local gallery nods, crushes shifting to a sweet girl from Poetry Club who saw his sketches as stars. "She's cool," Jamie confided one night, as they taped case files. "But you and Theo? Goals." The words eased a knot Alex hadn't named, the shift from idol to equal a gift. Yet the stalker resurfaced, anonymous notes slipping into Alex's mailbox. Ruiners get ruined. One included a keychain, Jamie's, lost months back, a violation that turned vigilance to obsession. Cops investigated, but leads evaporated. Paranoia frayed nerves. Theo noticed during a hike in Discovery Park, where cedars whispered over trails. "You're carrying too much," Theo said, halting on a bluff overlooking the straits. Wind tugged his hair, eyes searching. "This isn't just work. Talk." Alex exhaled, the words tumbling. The fear of loss, Marcus's ghost, the terror that protection came at intimacy's cost. Theo listened, then cupped his face. "I'm here. Not going anywhere." Their kiss, salt-tinged and sure, sealed it, a vow amid pines. The suit's hearing loomed like a squall, district court buzzing with reporters. Carlos testified first, voice steady. "I built my life brick by brick. No one's tearing it down." Ben followed, eloquent on love's quiet power. Then the accuser, a weaselly accountant named Hargrove, unraveled under Riley's grilling, admitting coercion. "Whitaker paid me. Said it'd hurt them where it counts." The judge dismissed with prejudice, fines levied. Hargrove spilling more on Whitaker's network, a cabal of old boys clinging to faded glory. News vans swarmed, but Alex slipped out with Jamie, high-fiving under courthouse oaks. "Teamwork," the boys said, echoing their first stand. Fall brought renewal. Lincoln High's homecoming. Banners fluttering where slurs once scarred. Alex, in his new role, oversaw the floats. GSA's a rainbow dragon breathing glitter. Tyler captaining the football team with a wristband reading LI. At the dance, Jamie twirled his date under disco lights, while Alex and Theo swayed slow, whispers lost in bass. But closure demanded confrontation. A tip led to Whitaker's hideout, a rundown cabin east of the Cascades, where Riley's PI staked out. "He's meeting Hargrove's crew," she reported. Alex debated, then drove solo, Theo's warning, "Don't go lone wolf," ringing. The confrontation was anticlimactic. Whitaker on the porch, gaunt and graying, shotgun propped like a crutch. "You won," the ex-principal rasped, eyes hollow. "Take your pound of flesh." Alex stepped closer, voice even. "Not about flesh. About futures. Yours is done. Live with it clean. No blows, just truth's quiet blade." Whitaker crumpled, sobs racking, a man unmade. Driving back, Alex felt pity's strange mercy, the cycle broken not by hate, but release. Winter holidays glittered, the shelter's trees strung with Jamie's ornaments, paper cranes in pride colors. Carlos hosted dinner, tables groaning under tamales and Theo's experimental pie. Laughter flowed, stories swapped. Ben's library bands battled, Riley's promotion to district ethics. As snow dusted the windows, Alex raised a glass. To secrets shared, not shamed. Jamie clinked, eyes misty. To the guy who mopped our way to this. Affection, pure, familial, the love that had sustained them. And as midnight told, Theo pulled Alex aside, ring box simple in his palm. Not pressure, just promise. Alex's yes was breath, a horizon opening. Revenge had forged him, but love refined, deep, dramatic in its dailiness, a story without end. Yet in the new year, a final twist, a letter from Whitaker, not venom but amends. Forgive what you can. I couldn't forgive myself. Alex shared it with the Circle, Decisions Collective, Therapy Referrals, a monitored restitution. Healing, Collective. Spring cycles back, pride flags waving. Alex's days a blend of blueprints and heart-to-hearts. With Theo, walks evolve to plans, adopting a rescue dog, debating forever. Jamie, off to art school, visits with sketches of them all, immortalized. The janitor's closet, once a cage, now holds tools for building. And in every scrubbed floor, Alex sees reflection, not victim, but victor, his heart's revenge, a life richly lived. The first frost-etched fractals on the shelter's windows as Alex bundled boxes of coats for distribution, the air crisp with pine from a donated wreath. Theo manned the intake table, charming donors with quips about winter wardrobes for superheroes. His laugh a low rumble that still sent warmth through Alex despite the chill. 6 months into their engagement, ring a discreet band etched with coordinates of their first hike, and the novelty hadn't worn. If anything, it deepened, like wine breathing. Jamie burst through the door mid-shift, cheeks ruddy from the bike ride, portfolio underarm. Portfolio reviews tomorrow. Tell me it's not terrible. He splayed pages on a folding table, vibrant abstracts of intertwined figures, shadows yielding to light, themes of emergence that tugged at Alex's chest. Terrible. It's you, Alex said, clapping his shoulder. Raw real. They'll see it. Jamie's grin split wide, but a shadow lingered. College apps loomed, the pull of Seattle versus dreams of New York's art scene. Dad's freaking about tuition. Says community college first, practical. Carlos, overhearing from the stockroom, emerged wiping hands on jeans. It's not freak out. It's fathering. But his tone softened under Ben's arched brow. The family dynamic had steadied post-lawsuit, Ben's steady presence a counterweight to Carlos's pragmatism, their marriage a quiet revolution in Jamie's world. Dinner that night at the Ruiz home was a cacophony of clinking silverware and overlapping stories, Riley arriving with takeout pho to spice things up. Theo regaled with a tale of grating essays on the Stonewall riots, drawing parallels to their own uprising. Laughter crested, but as plates cleared, Jamie dropped the bomb. I got into Pratt. Full ride if I go. Silence, then Carlos's sigh. New York? Alone. Pride warred with worry, the immigrant's echo of sacrifice. Ben leaned in. He's not alone. He's us, amplified. Debate flowed late, Alex mediating with gentle nudges. Support doesn't mean strings. By evening's end, hug sealed tentative yes, Jamie's launchpad secured. But Joy's underbelly stirred unrest. Anonymous emails resurfaced, this time to Theo's faculty inbox. Engaged to the Scandal King? Career suicide. Attached, doctored photos. Alex and Jamie's hugs photoshopped into sleaze. Theo shrugged it off over nightcaps, but Alex saw the flinch. Haters gonna hate, Theo said, but sleep evaded them, bodies close against the cold. Riley's PI traced it to a disgruntled ex-staffer, a custodian bitter over Alex's promotion, Whitaker's whispers fueling grudge. Confrontation came swift, a mediated meeting at the district office, the man slumping under evidence's weight. Lost my way, he muttered, apology wrung like confession. No charges, just a severance and a vow to heal. The incident rippled, prompting a school-wide workshop on digital empathy, Alex co-leading with Theo. Students trickled in after hours, Tyler among them, now a freshman at community, interning in maintenance. Missed this place, he admitted, helping stack chairs. Missed. Feeling okay. Their talk turned to fathers. Whitaker's rehab stint, letters of amends stacking unread. He wants to meet, Tyler said, voice small. Says sorry. For everything. Alex nodded. Your call. But sorry's a start, not the end. Tyler's choice came weeks later, A supervised coffee, walls cracking further. Redemption's path, winding but walked. As winter yielded to tentative buds, the shelter hosted a pride fundraiser. A queer art auction, Jamie's piece's centerpiece. Bidders crowded the hall, strung with lights and his murals, the buzz electric. Carlos emceed, voice booming pride. Ben curated the wine. Alex and Theo mingled, hands brushing in crowds. The ring's gleam a quiet anchor. A bidder snagged Jamie's flagship, a canvas of shadowed figures breaking into color, for double ask, a local gallery owner who later offered representation. Champagne popped, toasts rang, to breaking free. Jamie, flushed with victory, pulled Alex aside. This? Because of you. The fight, the faith. Emotion choked Alex. No, your fire. Their embrace, fraternal fierce, drew Theo's knowing smile. But high waned to hurdle. Theo's tenure review loomed, whispers of distractions from conservative board holdouts. They're gunning cause of us, Theo confided, pacing their apartment, bookshelves groaning under volumes. That email trail? It's ammo. Alex's resolve hardened. Then we arm better. They rallied allies, Patel pinning letters, Riley digging precedents, even Tyler testifying to the workshop's impact. The hearing was a gauntlet, pointed questions on focus, veiled jabs at personal life. Theo stood tall, citing student evals, his passion for history a shield. Verdict, tenure granted, unanimously. Celebration spilled into a rooftop bar, city lights sprawling below. We make a hell of a team, Theo murmured, toasting with bourbon neat. Spring's thaw brought Jamie's goodbye, a tear-streaked send-off at Seattle-Tacoma, portfolio in tow, family in tow. Call every day, Carlos gruffed, hug bearish. Ben slipped him a care package of books. Riley, mace disguised as lipstick. Alex's gift, a worn journal. For the stories only you see. Jamie's eyes shimmered. Love you, man. All of you. The gate swallowed him, but texts pinged immediate, sky high. Miss you already. Summer hummed renewal. Alex and Theo rode tripping the coast. Oregon dunes, California vines, rings glinting in sunsets. Stops at queer landmarks. The Castro's murals, Portland's bookshops. Conversations deepened, dreams of fostering, a home with space for strays human and hound. Back in Seattle, wedding plans wove in, small, beachside, guests intimate. Invites went to Carlos's crew, Riley as officiant, I'll make you cry, promise, Tyler as usher. Whitaker's name surfaced in a card, congrats and signed, but the gesture landed. Vows exchanged under driftwood arches, waves crashing chorus, Alex's words simple. You saw me whole when I was piecing. Here's forever. Theo's reply, tear-laced. Together, we're unbreakable. Honeymoon in the San Juans, cabins creaking with laughter, bodies mapping joy without rush. Return brought routine enriched. Theo's classes buzzing. Alex's projects greening the campus with community gardens, GSA, plots blooming literal and figurative. Fall welcomed Jamie home for break. New York tales tumbling. Subway sketches, gallery shows, a boyfriend named Kai. Soft-spoken sculptor, vetted via video call with the whole clan. Dinners brimmed, stories stacking like leaves. Yet depth demanded darkness. Theo's family visit, conservative roots clashing. His parents, Bible in hand, eyed the rings with stiff smiles. Dinner crackled, debates on choices, Theo's rebuttals sharp. Alex mediated, sharing his scars. Love chose us. We just said yes. Tears, then tentative embraces. We try, his mom whispered. Progress, prickly but precious. As leaves turned, a package arrived. Whitaker's journals, donated anonymously to the shelter. Tales of a youth queer and closeted, shame's slow poison. Alex read excerpts aloud to Theo, the tragedy clear. He could have been us. Forgiveness isn't forgetting, Theo said. They wrote back. No reply needed, but sent. Jamie's winter showcase streamed live, his piece, a mosaic of their circle, selling to a museum. Cheers echoed across states, bonds unfrayed by miles. In quiet nights, Alex reflects. From mocked mop to mended man, the journey's arc a testament. Love's drama not in storms, but sails, navigating with those who hold the helm. Autumn's palette painted Lincoln High in golds and crimsons, leaves crunching underfoot as Alex oversaw the harvest from the community garden plots. Radishes peaked ruby from soil, a far cry from the barren patches he'd inherited, now thriving under student hands. GSA kids weeding alongside jocks, banter bridging old divides. Theo joined after classes, sleeves rolled, dirt-streaked smile as he unearthed carrots. Therapy for the soul, he quipped, handing Alex a twisted root. Like us, knobby but nourishing. Their year of marriage had woven deeper patterns. Shared syllabus for a queer history elective. Weekends volunteering at the shelter's expansion. A new wing funded by Jamie's auction windfall. Life's we've held hitches, though. Theo's lingering cough from a stubborn flu. Dismissed as seasonal, but nagging Alex's worries. Jamie FaceTimed from his Brooklyn walk-up, Kai's voice chiming in background. Garden porn? Gross. Laughter crackled, but Jamie's eyes held news. Kai's folks are visiting. Traditional, want grandkids yesterday. How do I? Alex leaned into frame. Truth first. Love's not negotiation. Theo added, boundaries with heart. You've got this. Jamie's nod was resolute, the call ending on plans for Thanksgiving convergence. All converging in Seattle. Carlos and Ben arrived first, airport hugs expansive. Tales of a Hawaiian cruise where Ben learned to hula. Badly, but with flair. Riley helicoptered in from a conference, bearing gadgets, for the tech-illiterate newlyweds. Tyler, home from sophomore year, brought his girlfriend Lena, a firecracker engineering major, who grilled Alex on how to spot bullshit from a mile. The Ruiz table groaned under turkey and fixings, candles flickering as stories spun. Jamie and Kai landed late, jet-lagged but glowing, the younger man's shy handshake easing into easy chat. Tensions simmered subtle. Carlos's side-eye at Kai's tattoos, but Ben's toast smooth. To families chosen and cherished. Post-feast walks along the sound dissolved barriers, Kai opening on his conservative upbringing, the coming out that cleaved kin. Lost half, gained me, he said, Jamie's hand in his a quiet anchor. Tyler shared rehab anecdotes from Whitaker's program. Lena's arm looped supportive. Dad's writing now memoirs, maybe. Says it's his real resignation. Alex absorbed, the mosaic completing. Villains humanized, heroes flawed. Night's end, dishes sudsing, Theo pulled him close. Grateful, he murmured, for this chaos. Black Friday brought levity. Mall crawls where Riley outshopped them all, emerging triumphant with scarves and sarcasm. But Saturday's shadow fell. News alert on phones, Whitaker's obituary. Heart attack, sudden at 60. Tributes trickled, mixed. Condemnation from queer orgs, quiet regrets from colleagues. The circle gathered impromptu at the apartment, wine poured heavy. Tyler arrived last, eyes red-rimmed. He left a letter. For me, for the school. Words scrawled shaky. Apologies etched deep, a life ledger balanced late. Forgive if you can. Live better. Grief's wave crested collective. Tyler's sobs, Carlos's arm around him. Jamie's sketches capturing raw faces. Alex read aloud, voice steady. He was broken. We mended anyway. Theo's cough worsened, masking tears, but later, in bed, he confessed, scary this. The end's real. Alex held him, fears spilling, loss's specter, vows tested by time. We face it together, he whispered. Dawn brought resolve. Theo to the doc, diagnosis bronchitis, antibiotics prescribed. Relief washed, a reminder to cherish breaths. Jamie's visit extended, Kai bonding over board games, plans hatching for a joint exhibit. Brooklyn-Seattle pipeline. Kai joked, but eyes held future. Departure tugged, hugs at the gate, promises of holidays. Winter deepened, holidays at the shelter a whirlwind of carols and cocoa. Alex coordinated, Theo narrated ghost stories to wide-eyed kids. Riley proposed a legacy fund from Whitaker's estate. Tyler's suggestion, proceeds for anti-bullying grants. Board approved, first check to GSA scholarships. New Year's Eve, rooftop with the crew, fireworks bursting over the sound, resolutions whispered. More adventures, Theo said, kiss champagne sweet. Less fear. Spring unfurled with Theo's sabbatical. A joint project digitizing queer archives. Alex contributing oral histories from shelter elders. Interviews wove wisdom. Tales of raids, Stonewall echoes, loves lost and found. One veteran, Miriam, gripped his hand. You kids? You're our victory lap. Jamie's exhibit opening streamed. Mosaic series unveiled. Fractured alliances. Faces from their saga abstracted into unity. Sold out. Reviews raving. A testament to resilience. Pride swelled remote. Texts flooding celebratory. But fracture struck subtle. Theo's cough returned. Persistent. Doc's frown deepening. Scans scheduled. Waiting games agony. Circle rallied. Carlos sending care packages. Ben recipes for healing soups. Riley badgering for second opinions. Jamie flew back unannounced. Kai in tow, crashing on the couch. Family meeting, he declared, pizza boxes piling. Results came mid-skin weight. Early stage lymphoma, treatable. Shock numbed, then fury, then fight. Not the end, Theo insisted, pale but defiant. Just plot twist. Treatment's rhythm invaded. Chemo days in recliners. Alex vigilant with ginger tea and bad TV. Tyler visited, sharing his own health scare post-grad. Routine check that steadied him. Dad's gone, but his lesson, face it head-on. Remission whispers came summer solstice, scans clean, celebration a beach bonfire, waves lapping, stars pricking. Toasts to survival, Theo's hand in Alex's. You carried me. Alex's reply, we carried. Fall's return brought Jamie's graduation invite. Masters bound, Kai co-applying. Ceremony virtual, cheers amplified. Tyler proposed to Lena. Rings simple, wedding small with Alex Bestman in G. Vows echoed his own. Through fractures, we forge. As leaves fell anew, Alex walked gardens alone sometimes, Theo napping recovery deep. Reflection settled. Life's drama not in climaxes, but continuums. Love's steady pulse overcoming every odd. A letter from Jamie, postgrad. Sketches enclosed, note. You taught me revenge is rebuilding. Thanks for the blueprint. Alex pinned it by the door, heart full. In every dawn, he chooses gratitude. The mock that birthed might. The secret that set free. The equinox sun slanted low through the kitchen window, gilding the steam rising from Alex's mug as he scrolled news on his tablet. Theo, hair tousled from sleep, shuffled and wearing Alex's old flannel, pressing a kiss to his temple. World ending yet? He mumbled, pouring coffee black. Same old, Alex replied, but his thumb paused on a headline. Former principal's untold legacy, a son's reckoning. Tyler's byline, an op-ed in the Seattle Times. Memoir excerpt on Whitaker's final years, therapy's grace, the elder's quiet advocacy from afar. Read this. Kids come full circle. Theo leaned over, eyes scanning. Damn. Forgiveness isn't absolution, it's freedom. Poetic bastard. Pride laced his tone, the paper's impact rippling. Letters pouring to Tyler, invitations to speak at panels. Jamie's reply pinged. Tyler's blowing up. We should collab. Art and words on healing. Kai chimed. NYC exhibit? Your muses. Laughter bubbled, plans sketching loose. Carlos called mid-morning, voice buoyant. Ben and I, adopting. Foster kid, 12, trans boy. Papers filed. Joy erupted, details tumbling. The boy's name, Eli, sharp wit hiding scars. Home visits aced. Your turn next? Carlos teased. Alex glanced at Theo, chemo's shadow faded but etched. Maybe. Garden's got room. The seed planted, discussions flowering over dinners. Fostering classes enrolled, home studies prepped. Shelter work intensified. Alex spearheading a mentorship program pairing elders with youth. Miriam guiding Eli's age peer on history's hard-won lessons. Riley, now district liaison, funneled grants. Her wedding to a journalist pending. Small, but expect drama. Vows include investigative clauses. Tyler's engagement party crammed the apartment. Lena's energy infectious as she orchestrated charades. Whitaker impressions drawing guilty laughs. Tyler pulled Alex aside, beer in hand. Dad's book deal, proceeds to the fund. You're doing, man. Nah, Alex demurred. Yours. Hugs exchanged, futures toasted. Winter's grip loosened to spring's promise. Theo's energy surging. Classes packed. A TEDx talk booked on queer narratives in education. Prep sessions turned house alive. Alex playing devil's advocate. Too academic? Theo's retort. To you. Jamie's visit coincided. NYC buzz in his step. Kai's ring on finger. Exhibit greenlit. It's us, Jamie said, showing mock-ups. Fractured glass mended gold. Kintsugi style. Portraits layered. The breaks make beauty. Eli met them at the shelter, shy under beanie, but Jamie's sketch demo thawed him. Pencils flying, stories spilling. Cool, Eli muttered, first smile cracking. Adoption hearing dawned crisp. Courtroom hushed as judge banged gavel. Family official. Tears streamed. Carlos's bear hug. Ben's whoop. Eli's quiet dads. After party at the beach. Kites soaring. Alex and Theo watching waves. Our turn. Theo asked, hand warm. Let's. Classes commenced. Nerves electric. Interviews. Trainings on trauma. Boundaries. First match. A teen girl. Mia, 15, non-binary. Foster hop too long. Home visit sparked. Her quips matching Theo's. Garden tour ceiling. Placement temporary, but hearts latched. Mia's arrival appended rhythm. Vegan stir-fries. Late-night talks on identity. School runs weaving with work. Conflicts brewed. Mia testing limits. Alex's patience fraying over curfews. She's scared, Theo counseled, post-tantrum. Like we were. Counseling bridged. Mia opening on bio family's rejection. Dreams of graphic novels. Jamie mentored virtual. Sketches swapping. Bonds knit slow. Mia's pops. To Alex a milestone whispered. Summer's heat wave brought the exhibit opening. Virtual tour for Mia. Full crew flying east. Gallery hummed. Jamie's kintsugi glowing under spots. Kai's sculptures complimenting. Toasts rang. To mended worlds. Reviews lauded. A queer odyssey of repair. Sales funded scholarships. Ripples wide. Tyler's wedding followed. Mountain chapel vistas. Lena radiant in boots and gown. Best man speech. Alex's words on choosing change. From pranks to promises. Vows exchanged. Dances wild. Whitaker's empty chair a poignant ghost. Letter read private. Be the man I couldn't. Fall harvested bounty. Mia's permanency hearing. Adoption granted amid cheers. Family. She signed the papers. Grinned fierce. Eli bonded sibling style. Sleepovers scheming comics. Theo's talk went viral. Clips shared in circles. Tyler's tweet. My hero's hero. Book tours beckoned. But Theo grounded. Home first. Jamie's marriage to Kai. Brooklyn brownstone intimate. Streamed with vows poetic. You saw my lines. Drew me whole. Alex and Theo danced in kitchen to the feed. Mia giggling directives. Holidays swelled household. Mia baking disasters. Eli's visits chaotic joy. Carlos retired partial. Ben's library story hours queer inclusive. Riley's nuptials Vegas themed. Vows under neon. Till hacks do us part. New Year, snow blanketing. Alex journaled by fire. From slur's sting to this symphony. Mia peeked. Writing our story? Yours, he said. Ours. Theo joined, arms encircling. Next chapter? Whatever comes, Alex replied. Together. Spring's renewal. Garden blooms. Mia's first exhibit. Novels graft. Tyler's book launch. Memoirs unflinching. Sales soaring charity. A card arrived, anonymous. Miriam's, from hospice. Victories in the living. Yours shines. She passed gentle. Memorial at shelter. Stories her legacy. Summer solstice bonfire. Circle vast. Fosters, families, fighters. Toasts to Miriam. To fractures gilded. Jamie's family grew. Pregnancy announced. Surrogacy joy. Tiny artist incoming. Tyler's dadhood loomed. Lena's bump proud. Mia's college acceptances. Art school bound. Alex and Theo. Empty nesters soon. I travels. Europe's histories. Asia's arts. In every leaf turn. Drama distills to devotion. Love's plot. Endless. Ever unfolding. The hook that hooked a lifetime.